And we're back. Welcome to the Obligatory podcast
Yeah.
with Kermit and Mike, episode
30.
How you say it in Spanish?
Yeah.
That's what I like.
We're here.
30 episodes.
I can't
man.
believe it.
Sheesh.
Oh my gosh.
How'd it go by so quick?
I can't believe we tolerate each other that long.
Let me tell you, compared to some people I work with, you're a dream.
Oh, okay. I'll
You're
take that.
so easy to work with.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, a little bit of a late start tonight.
Yeah.
Had a lot of every time I come in, you got some new technical stuff you want
And
to try.
next week there'll be more new stuff.
But, awesome job with the board. I was out last week. We had Pedro Lima sitting in. If you haven't heard episode 29, take a listen because I personally think it's probably the best episode of the Obligatory podcast.
I don't think that.
I was listening to it on the road going, hey, these guys are funny. They should have a podcast. Oh, wait, they do. It's mine. Never mind. Yeah, so, you want someone to fill in for you that makes it so like people miss you when you come back, not someone that they start going, oh, maybe we should start getting this guy on a bit more, but whatever. If you're listening to us, you've already found us. You know where to find us. But if you want to tell anyone else, you can find us all over the place. We're actually on the, let's see.
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Podbean, of course.
Wow, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe iHeart. I gotta work.
You're
on
working
that
on
one.
that?
You know what it is?
Mhm.
I didn't realize you have to pay.
You got to pay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, we usually we post up our episodes Thursday right around noon, right?
Right. But no, 11 o'clock every Thursday at 11. Yeah,
11 o'clock every Thursday, but not this week because we might post this one up.
We're going to post this one up first thing in the morning. You're hearing this Wednesday. If it's Wednesday, you're hearing it.
If everything went to plan,
Yeah.
it is Wednesday.
And the reason why we're doing it is
because tomorrow night
or today, because you're listening to it,
or Wednesday night,
Wednesday night
at the Orlando Improv, Mike Hurley,
Kermit Gonzalez,
Charlie Bowie,
Kevin White,
and Eric Lutz. Take the stage in the main room. It's going to be a great show. 8 p.m. show. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. There's been a lot of like, this was our first time using Eventbrite to promote the show.
Yep.
There's been a good turnout on that. I talked to the box office yesterday. They said it's looking pretty good. You said you got a huge list of people coming out.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of nervous.
Why?
I haven't done a show where I actually invite people that are coming out for me,
right,
and for friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been like, oh, because I'm hosting for Tommy Davidson, so they're coming out to see Tommy Davidson. They don't care.
So it takes kind of the pressure.
Right, and I even have friends come in and they're like, oh man, I missed your set. I came in late. Thanks.
Well, you know what I'm kind of nervous about? We did this 2 years ago. We did a show where I was headlining. I asked you hosted that one, right?
Well, yeah.
And it was so funny because they've been having problems with their off night shows, and they haven't been getting good crowds. So they short-staffed the room. They only put like 6 servers on. And then I don't know how it happened. You don't know how it happened. But Miracle of Miracles, that show was packed. They were turning people away at the door because they had no more seats for them, which is kind of, it makes you feel good, being that we're quote-unquote unknown. We're not names, But I was so happy and so proud of that. But then the GM says, hey, how do you guys feel about shouting your show? And we're like, what? And apparently they had some huge issue go down with the sound. And I still think it's because the show the night before, they had DJs in there messing with the sound booth. They were doing it was that roast show of some radio guy. You were actually on that. And
was it the Ricky Padilla one?
Yep. And everybody was plugged into the board. Everybody was doing their stuff.
No way. I wouldn't be able to do a roast show and another show.
That was exactly what it was, because I was there at your roast show handing out tickets for our show the next night.
You're completely right.
I know for a fact I'm right.
That's right. And they screwed
up the whole board. So we had an hour. People doors had opened at 7, and then we had an hour. We were supposed to start at 8. We didn't get started till like 9:15.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened with that. They just screwed us over on that. That's what happened, really.
Yeah, and then we still ended up doing the show, but man, people walked out before we even started the show.
I was gonna say we did get the sound out, right?
We ended up getting sound back on.
No, but you left to go get a speaker set.
We went down the road and we grabbed my at the time I was hosting
Jack's Pub,
an open mic down the road, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll go grab my sound system from there. It's nowhere near as nice as the Improvs, but it could get the job done in a room like that,
Yeah.
So knock on wood, all I'm hoping for tomorrow night is it goes off without a hitch.
Please.
So Yeah. But oh, by the way, happy birthday, man.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
yesterday.
That was yesterday. You turned the big what?
36. And I
Th-
still haven't hit my growth spurt. So
36.
this is
No
bullshit.
puberty yet for you.
None.
This is getting
Puberty's there,
ridiculous.
just not the growth
Yeah.
spurt.
What I loved about it was everybody was feeding you shots last night for your birthday.
Yeah.
Everybody was feeding you shots.
And 2 shots is like a liter for me.
Yeah, they are. We should give you shots and thimbles from now on.
that would have been better.
But the best part was you were kind of getting a little wonky, and I told your girl, I'm like, the worst part, he just spent $5,000 on a bed, and he's gonna be sleeping on the bathroom floor tonight. I'm like, I hope it's comfortable tile. You should really invest in a rug for your bathroom.
I do have a nice rug.
There you go. There you go. So no hangover, no nothing. You felt good?
No, man, I lied.
Did you?
I had 3 shots.
Okay.
And then 1 real drink.
Okay.
And I felt it. And then everyone kept buying me drinks.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be rude, so I'll take the drink,
Mm-hmm.
but I only drink halfway and then I dump it.
Ah, you wasting liquor.
Yeah, I wasted liquor. I don't
Nah.
care. Whatever broken alcohol code,
Mm-hmm.
I broke them all. So then like I just pretended I was like, oh man, I'm feeling so sick. But I was good.
Oh, so my video of you dancing to Uncle Luke's birthday
I was
song
loose.
last night.
I was loose.
I like you. You're like Trump. You're like Trump. Once the video evidence comes to play, the story kind of changes a little bit. Like, look, I was totally sober. I got video of you dance. Oh, look, I was feeling okay.
But I wasn't like
backpedaling son of a bitch.
I wasn't like vomit drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I consider drunk.
Yeah.
Like I can walk. I don't need somebody carrying me, and
Right.
like I wouldn't be able to drive. I wouldn't drive, but I could if I needed to.
Right.
So
Right.
that was it.
Oh, good, man. So
It was
all
good.
in
It was a
all,
good birthday.
Yeah.
I like celebrating my birthday with comedians and
Yeah.
instead of just doing a dinner thing and then the people are forced to sing you that happy birthday song.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I think birthdays change as you get older,
What do you mean, like as far as the celebration part?
Yeah, like what you do to enjoy it. Like I don't need a big party. I don't need anything. Like I think a party.
I think people like doing a big celebration when you get like hit to like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, because they're surprised you lived that long.
Is that what it is? It's a celebration of
Because
life.
every time is like, this might be our last year with you. At a certain age, every birthday is more of a goal or
Right.
a milestone than anything. Yeah, but I don't remember the last time. I think I'll tell you the best birthday I ever had was when I hit 40. My parents actually drove up and took me to medieval times. They treated me like I was a little kid again. They're like, they just drove up and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh."
Don't you know the staff that works there? Like, because like magicians that work there too at medieval times. I'm not being serious.
I don't
No?
know. No, I had a
Okay.
I had a friend of a friend who knew one of the knights there.
Okay.
And I don't
Okay.
care how many times I go medieval times. I don't care what I've done in my life. As soon as I leave medieval times, I'm like looking up, how do you become a knight at medieval times? Like, I still want to be a knight. Who wouldn't want to be a knight? Have you been to medieval times?
I mean, not on my birthday. Do they make you part of the show?
If you pay extra,
Oh, that's
you
the
don't get to be
catch.
part of the show, but like before they bring you into the main tournament room, they
Okay.
call you up to like there's the king throne room.
Okay.
And they call you up and they have you kneel down on this little pillow. And this guy who probably has a day job working the cash register at Hess comes over, but he's dressed up like the king and now he knights you.
Knights
Or
you.
if you're too young, if you're too old to be a knight, they just give you a kingdom. Like they kinged me. They didn't even make me a knight. And when I went, my parents paid for that and I didn't know. So they start calling all the names like the herald is like, "Come forward, Edward so-and-so and Timothy blah, blah, blah." And all these little kids are walking up to the stage. And I'm like, oh, this guy cute. And they're like, "Edward Sir Michael Hurley here come to." So it's like a line of like 6-year-olds who totally deserve to be doing this.
And then you're old
And
ass
then
there.
me. And then me. And
you're just towering over all these kids.
and I'd like to say I was slightly embarrassed, but this is the treatment I never got when I wanted it. So I took it. I kneeled down and I let this guy who makes $11.50 an hour pretending to be a king tap me on the shoulders with a sword while someone with a camera took pictures so they could charge us $29.99 later on. And I did it. So and the funny thing is my boys were there. And they saw me get kinged.
Okay.
So even now, like whenever there's something in the house, they're like, "Well, Daddy's a king," and I just go, "Yes, he is."
Isn't that like Cable Guy where you got to fight your friend? And
Oh, I wish, dude. I wish I had gone in there. Janine Garofalo, she had that great. She played the like the food wench.
Oh yeah,
You
I remember that one.
And then Matthew Broderick's character goes, "Excuse me, could I get a fork?" She's like, "There were no forks in medieval times, hence there are no forks at medieval times." He's like, "But they had Pepsi."
And then she gets mad, right? She's
like, just look, man,
get out of here.
Just go.
Just get your food.
So
eat your chicken and shut up.
So yeah, I was show went great last week. Thanks for covering the Obligatory podcast.
Yeah,
Got to hear it. I was on the road with Dustin Diamond, aka Screech from Saved by the Bell, and you actually tour. It was, dude. It was like 11 cities, or 11 days, 10 cities, 12 shows, something like that. And it was just basically do a show, wake up, drive. Do a show, wake up, drive.
That's what it seemed like. You didn't seem like you get to enjoy really the city.
Nah, we did like 2,100 miles, I think is what we tapped out. I think it was 2,100 miles from the minute I picked him up at the airport to when I pulled in back home. And of course, when I pulled in back home, I got in. We had a gig in Boca Raton. We closed out the run in Boca Raton Saturday night. We did 2 shows. One started at 8:30. The next one started at 11. And then his flight was leaving the Orlando airport at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it was drive back, everything else. The nice thing is, living in Orlando, that meant I was back home. I had told the boys, since I hadn't seen him in like a week and a half, I told the boys, I'm like, look, you guys are going to wake up. Daddy's going to be there and you're going to have donuts. Because I'm like, I'll pick up donuts before I hit the house. They'll be waiting for him. I got home at like 5:30.
This is at the end of the tour.
Yeah, end of the tour. I got home at 5:30. Dunkin' Donuts by me doesn't open until 6. So I sat down the futon. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll leave for donuts.
That line alone. Okay.
I'll leave for donuts in like 15 minutes. I remember looking at my phone, seeing it was 5:47, and going, okay, 2 more minutes. I'm getting out of here. And the next thing I remember is my 4-year-old knocking on my head because I passed out on the futon, and he's like, "Daddy." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy." I haven't seen him in like a week and a half. "Hey, buddy." He's like, "You said you'd have donuts." I'm like, "Oh, man." So now I got to get up and go out. So we got up and we went and picked up donuts, and then I was loved again. And then we got back home with the donuts, and my oldest goes, "Hey, are we still going to see Winnie the Pooh today?" And I was like, "Did I say we were going?" He's like, "Yeah."
It is taking you for the ride.
Yeah, well,
did you even say that?
Probably. Because here's the thing, when you're talking to him through the phone and everything else, and I'm trying to, I don't like being away from them for that long.
Okay.
But at the same time, I try to cheer him up with like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm going to see you Sunday, going to have donuts, blah, blah, blah." And I think I did tell the oldest about we go to the movies. So I'm like, all right, I go on Fandango, I look, and I see the movie time 1:30. I'm like, cool, we'll do 1:30 because I'll get some sleep. But I couldn't fall back to sleep.
That's the real live action Pooh. Yeah, that's a cartoon.
No, it's
that looks creepy as hell.
It wasn't bad, but here's the thing: we get to the theater, we sit down, movie starts. It's a 2-hour movie.
2 hours
about Christopher Robin, who is the boy who
right, the young.
But
kid.
now he's grown up and he's got a kid of his own.
No,
and the whole movie, the overlying theme is he works too hard and doesn't spend enough time with his children. I'm like, really, Disney?
Like you.
After I've been gone for a week and a half, I had some tears, man. I mean, this is what you're gonna hit me with? I haven't even slept yet. And it's already Disney sitting there with just stuffed animals going, "Hey, you, row E, seat 6. You're a shitty father.
Spend time with your kids.
Spend time with your kids." And here's the hypocrisy of it. It took me a week's salary to take my family to the movies, so it's like,
it's expensive.
It is. So it's like, gee, Disney, kind of hypocritical, because if a daddy doesn't go to work and make the money, he doesn't have the money to take the kids to the movie to hear what a shitty father he is.
I want you to write a review on the movie, like on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. That should be your review.
Right.
2 stars.
Yeah, I guess I could stop working. Then me and the kids could spend more time together, on the corner outside the Florida Mall, begging passerbys for any spare food they may have.
All because of Pooh.
All because of Pooh. Such a high and mighty. You should. It was one of those movies where it's been done before, but where the guy basically tells off his boss so he can go spend time with his family. Right. Only in movies does that work out, with the boss coming back and going, "You know what? We were wrong, and we want to give you a promotion, and I appreciate someone who tells me what it is." Most of the time, it ends up with you on the unemployment line. That's how it ends up.
"Oh, Mike Hurley, spend time with your kids. Think." And then Eeyore's back.
Yeah.
You should really spend some time.
You should really spend some time. I played Eeyore.
What do you mean you played him?
I played Eeyore back before Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, great. Did you come up with a tale too? Is that your idea? Are we going back to this?
I'm just saying.
The Buzz Lightyear 2 ears?
I created the cover of Buzz Lightyear 2.
Here we go.
That's 100% me.
All right. So what did you create for Eeyore?
Nothing. I just played Eeyore.
What did you play by Eeyore? Just walk around depressed?
Pretty much.
Perfect.
Eeyore was a great character to play because all these other characters, and we're talking about when you go to Disney World and you see the people in the animal. We called it being in fur. When you worked in character department, you talked about I work in fur because you're wearing. And Eeyore was a great character because I would be Pluto a couple of days a week, and Pluto you gotta be bouncy, high energy, everything else. Eeyore you could come over hungover from the night before, no sleep, waddle out onto the set, and you got these big Eeyore ears. And you take the ears and you put them over your eyes, and everybody's like, "Wow, Eeyore's so shy." And you're like, "No, Eeyore's fucking hungover. The sun is mentioned." They're like, "How come Eeyore smells like Daddy after his bowling league nights?" That's vomit.
I just picture you walking around Disney. And you're like, man, hey, that guy plays a good Eeyore. Hire him.
I was an amazing Eeyore.
You didn't even apply it.
In fact, I won Character of the Week once, and it was for my portrayal of Eeyore.
You shut up.
I do.
Because you were walking around depressed, hating your life.
Yeah. And that was hard because that was back when I was optimistic. I was a young man back then. And life is beating me down. But oh, you know what I did we started the run. You actually did a show with me and Dustin. You were out in Lakeland for the first time at Winner's Circle. You did great, man. I was a little nervous for you. It was a sold-out show.
Why you always every comedian says that? A little nervous. I've been doing this for 6 years. Yeah, it's still nervous.
Yeah, and we're waiting for you to get good at it. That's why we're still on the edge of our seats. Because it was a sold-out show, and you came out to, I told you to come out to a guest spot. Then we got there, and it turned out they didn't have a host.
Which is perfect.
And I was like, hey, you want to host? And you're like, yeah, sure. And you went up there, a sold-out show, and I think I had talked to you before the show. I'm like, look, whatever you do, don't go up there and go right into your material. Take the time to set the room.
Right.
And then you went up there, hey, how you guys doing tonight? So here's the thing with blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
time out.
Damn it.
Time out.
Right.
Time out.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They didn't like what you're saying. When we're in the green room, you laugh.
The storage room where they keep the extra Budweiser lights.
I asked, go, do I need to do any kind of announcement? The guy goes, nah, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to be on the teleprompter and all that stuff. And they'll take care of it. Just go do your thing. And I go, okay. So I'm thinking he's going to go up and do some time or do something.
Nope.
I'm in the back. I don't know what I was doing. All of a sudden I hear my name and I hear my name. I wasn't ready. And like you said, the stool wasn't even up there. I run up there.
Yeah, I went up because I noticed that we were about to start and there was no stool on stage. So I went up and threw a stool on stage. And I noticed he was announcing you. And I know how short your legs are. I know how long that room is. And I didn't even see you halfway down. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to go well.
No, but I went into, I didn't go into straight in my material. I did some basic. All right, you wanted me to do the birthday stuff.
I believe your girl has the video once again. So if you really want to put this out there,
it somehow got deleted.
Did it? Did it? Were you not happy with?
No. I still got it. No, it's cool.
Yeah. No. So, but it took you a couple of minutes, and then they were with you.
Yeah. The beginning was I was a little bit flustered. I was like,
yeah, you could tell.
And then I kind of got my groove.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
And what'd you think of the whole show overall?
It's loud. That room is loud though.
Yeah.
That audience loved to be part of the show. But it was good. It was a good I think it was a good show. It was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I would like to do that again actually.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good. Next time Dustin comes in town, you can go on 11 days with him, and I'll teach karate to children.
Is that the plan?
That's the plan.
I would have lost it.
But yeah, we saw you. That was our third night of the run. We had been down in Key West the 2 nights before, and I did something in Key West I haven't done in years. I actually rode a bicycle.
I thought you were gonna say kiss a guy.
Nah.
Oh, that's been done. Sorry.
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah. But no. The Key West is filled with like bikes and scooters and everything else. It's only like 1 mile by 4 miles, the whole island. So people get around a lot easier on bikes and scooters. Last time I went down there, they offered me a bike and I went to ride it, but the seat was way too high and my feet couldn't touch the ground. And
Welcome to my world.
I'm like, dude, I'm not getting on this thing, because what I remember about riding a bike is you need to be able to put your feet down when you want to stop.
Yeah.
This time around, they offered me a bike and the seat was adjustable. And I'm like, all right, let's give this a try. And for all those people who say shit like, oh, yeah, it's just like riding a bike, what they really mean is whatever you're about to do, you're going to skin your knees and have people flipping you off, because it was the most horrific. Dude, I was scared to death. Like, I was learning how to ride a bike all over again. And I'm just remembering now when my dad was trying to teach me to ride a bike. I remember that moment. You always see it in the TV show where they let go for the first time and you're doing it and you're like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. My dad hadn't taught me how to use the brakes. So I just intentionally threw myself into like a curb and grass.
Wait, you still did that?
That was when I was learning how to ride it. My dad's like, why'd you stop? I'm like, I didn't know how to brake. And yeah, in Key West, you know what else they got? Chickens and roosters just running through the streets.
Wait, were you riding your bike on the road?
Yeah.
Why? You're that asshole that was like blocking traffic?
Dude, no. There's bike lanes in Key West. Dude, there's more bikes than cars.
No one uses those. Get on the sidewalk.
Where the people are? I was doing sidewalk.
Was there a lot of people?
Road. Yeah, dude, it's a huge tourist area.
Every time I see someone, why don't you just ride a sidewalk?
So, no, I was riding everywhere. But at one point, I went to Mallory Square and took some pictures. And then I got back on my bike and I went down this little side alley. And right in the middle of the alley, there was this chicken,
like staring you down.
I was playing chicken with the chicken, like it. It was, and I was trying to ride, and he wouldn't move, and he was like a.
What do you mean he wouldn't move? How big was this chicken?
Like 2 feet. 2 feet. You ever have a 2-foot cock just staring you down? You ever staring at a 2-foot cock? 2-foot cock.
It was very intimidating cock that you were staring
Just very intimidating. Yeah, so I was playing chicken with the chicken, and he was cock blocking me. He was just wouldn't move. At one point, this is how I tried making noises and everything else, and like at one point, I was just like, I'm just gonna leave the bike here. I had to. He wouldn't move. I tried to.
I'm so confused here.
It was a very narrow.
How narrow? Like you couldn't just ride around the damn chicken?
No, there was no room to go around.
So wait, if you went left, he stood in front of you. Went right,
no, there was no. If he didn't move, there was no way to edge around. And okay, maybe I could have squeezed by, but didn't want him.
You were scared of a cock.
I was. It was a 2-foot cock. Like, you're not scared. Have you ever seen a 2-foot cock? It's intimidating.
I live with it. I mean, yeah. What's your point? No, I never seen that. What are you talking about?
I thought it was going to peck my ankles. Like, if I tried to.
But you're on a bike.
Yeah, but my ankles are like totally exposed.
I wish you recorded this of this chicken.
I got a picture of the chicken at one point. I put it on Instagram.
Oh man.
But
I didn't know you got cock blocked and shook down by the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know why at the moment I thought, man, I'm glad no one was here to see this. And then I come on here and tell you guys all about it.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To stop this pussy from riding his bike near my house.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Because like everything else in life, it just had to get in Mike's way. Yeah.
So besides that, the whole 2 weeks of touring?
Yeah, Key West was great, man.
But from Key West to where did you end that again?
Started in Key West, then did Lakeland with you, then went over to Fort Myers, then came back, did the gig in Orlando. You were on that show too. Then Tuesday we were scheduled to do a gig in Melbourne, Florida, and he got an offer to fly out to LA for one night for like $5,000, and that was nowhere near the money he was making for that show.
Wait,
so
he left the tour?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Yeah, I said it was a bitch move too. But
so what did you do with the show?
Well, the venue that it was booked through, the owner was very understanding actually, and they just wanted to reschedule.
Oh, cool. So you didn't burn a bridge?
No, I didn't burn a bridge. Plus, myself and Duncan J said, well, look, if you already got people coming out, you know, if they don't want a refund, if they're going to hold on to those tickets for when we reschedule, then we'll still come out and do a show for you on Tuesday night. So we went out and did
that's cool.
Did a show, and it's a nice little venue out there. Wednesday I picked him up at the airport. He flew back into Orlando, and we hauled ass down to Vero Beach, did a gig in Vero. The next day we headed down to Lake Worth, And then Friday, we backtracked up to Auburndale. And Lake Worth and Boca are literally like 10 minutes from each other. But we had to do Lake Worth, come 3.5 hours back to Auburndale, which is by Lakeland, and then head back to Boca the next day because I can't book a gig.
I was gonna say, what happened there?
It was just a matter of
Bad dates, I guess.
Yeah, it was just one of those things we had already booked. This was only supposed to be Key West.
I thought comedy tours, they always sound fun, and you just made it not sound fun at all.
Well, when they're set up right, I'm sure they can be a lot of fun.
I want to do one. I've never done a comedy tour.
This was just messed up from the beginning because originally it was just going to be Key West. You know, we drive down, we do Key West, we come back up, we do Lakeland, and then he flies out.
See, I want to do that.
But then he had a couple of other offers, and I'm like, well, we're off. We might as well pick them up. So then it became filling in. Like, you try to get your weekends booked, and then you try to fill in everything. And sometimes you're just so happy to find someone who wants to pay you to be somewhere on a Monday where it's like, oh, if the money's worth it and you're going to cover our hotel, then why not, you know?
Oh, okay. So all the gigs covered you in the hotel at least? All of the majority.
Most of them this run did. There was only like one night where we had to cover our own hotels.
I'm pretty sure the ones you there's a nightmare hotels that you had to hit. Was it hotels or motels?
Yeah, dude.
Oh no.
The only time I really care is when I'm staying with, like, if I'm on the road with the family and the kids, then I want to stay somewhere nice. Other than that, if the club is providing it and it's nice, that's great. But if it's one of those places where I got to cover myself for the night, dude, I always stay in whatever's cheap. I don't give a shit.
Oh man, you stay in like the ones with like the floors are sticky and the curtains look like they're like.
I got shoes.
Oh, the bed though,
dude.
You run a black light. It looks like a crime scene.
Put it into perspective. He had a night where it was Orlando, where he was just doing that personal appearance, the meet and greet at other bar, where there was no hotel with that gig. So I was like, well, look, dude, you're gonna be in Orlando. We pulled into Orlando at like 5 o'clock. The gig was at 8, and then we were heading out the next day. So I was like, dude, if you want, just come over to my place, you know, chill out, relax. We're going to go do the gig. Then after the gig, you know, come back, crash. We'll wake up in the morning and leave. He's like, no, I think I want a hotel room. I'm like, okay, we'll get a hotel room. You know, here's hotels.com. Figure it out while I was driving. And he was only going to be, because he was flying out. Yeah, we weren't driving the next day. He had to fly out at like 9 o'clock to go do that gig in LA. So we're talking about from the 2 hours before the show.
Okay.
And he got back to the hotel at like 3. So from 3 to like 6. So basically,
he rented a hotel for like 4 hours.
For tops? 4 or 5 hours. But he didn't just rent a decent hotel. He rented a hotel out by the airport, like Marriott at Augusta or whatever. It was like $160. And that's not how I live my life. I'm not paying $160 for something I'm gonna be in for 5 hours.
I mean, it's his money, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
I don't know.
So it's over for now.
It is over. We'll probably have more coming up, but
you're gonna go back.
Dude, I always say it's the last time, and then whenever it pops up again, I'm like, money's money.
No. People like Screech, huh?
Oh, people come out, man. I think out of all the shows, we only had 2 that weren't sold out. And one was Fort Myers, where you had over 100 people. The room holds like 220, though. I think they could squeeze in another 100. But these people also paid like $35 for VIP tickets. And, you know, so the owner was happy. He had covered his expenses on the show. And then the other one was we did this Thursday night show down Lake Worth at a bar called Propaganda Live. And this bar is set up for like rock bands and stuff like that. So there's like no tables, no seats, it's standing
room.
Yeah.
Oh, to watch you guys?
Yeah.
Do comedy?
Which I don't know. I've never been a fan of like comedy shows where people are like
I leave.
Yeah.
I did that crap at the Social once.
Really?
And like Jersey or whatever.
Yeah, we did 420 Fest all standing.
And I was just like, I'm not doing this shit.
Comedy's just a different thing, man. Like I believe, you know, the audience should be able to be seated and
relax. People are sitting on stairs and crap. Yeah. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well, with people standing and walking around, they're gonna talk. Mm-hmm. Good luck trying to tell people to be quiet at a comedy show and they're standing around uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A show that's like an hour plus long, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
So speaking of which, if you come to the Orlando Improv Wednesday night at 8 p.m., we'll have seats for you.
We got seats for you.
We got seats for you.
And a fancy dinner.
You can go
drink
to
specials.
you can call over to the Orlando Improv 407-480-5233 extension 5.
Those days are over. No extension anymore. They pick directly up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
When did that change?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so call the Orlando Improv 407-480-5233 and just say you want tickets for the Wednesday night show and use the password PODS.
Tonight show.
PODS. Wednesday night show, August 29th. Yeah,
today's 28th. Yeah.
So, well, if you're listening, today's the 29th.
Right.
There we go. You know what we're talking about.
Gotcha.
So, or just, click on Facebook and there's the event page and you can
We're
do
also going to
online.
have, if you happen to come to the show, we're going to have these. We got new magnets.
Oh, yeah, man. I saw those. Those look great.
Yeah. So if you listen to us and you want to cop a magnet, we'll have them. And that's pretty much it. Where they at? There it is. And then, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be a good time, no matter what happens,
Don't say that.
Well, this is how, you know what? We were just saying, I think that's part of the reason, I didn't enjoy being on the road sometimes. It's like, I enjoy being on the road if I'm booked and someone's handling all the details and all I got to worry about is showing up and doing the show. But, when I do these runs with him,
well, you're everything.
I'm the promoter, I'm the booker, I'm the driver, it's just a lot. A lot of times it's not until you're walking on stage that you start thinking, what did I want to talk about tonight? It's just been so busy.
Man, I don't want to get into it again, but
yeah. And even with this show tomorrow night, it's like, I don't know why with the improv shows, it's always, there's a lot of pressure on you to make sure the room's filled and everything else.
It's all about putting
butts in seats.
Butts in seats.
It is, but I mean, when we do all these other gigs for, other venues, it's kind of like, okay, here's your pay. And then they have a whole team that takes care of filling up, putting people in the seats and stuff like that. But for some reason, when we do the improv, we have this more feeling of why I think it is? If you have less than 200 people in the improv room, it feels empty.
Hell yeah,
I've done shows in there. You put 100 people in any, Bonkers Comedy Club room, you're like, oh man, that was a good night. That was packed. You put 100 people in the improv, you feel like, well, maybe I'll go take that air conditioning and refrigeration class tomorrow.
If that second tier is not filled, you're looked at like this guy.
Yeah, we gave him a show.
Yeah, I can't believe we wasted our time with him. Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah,
it's not a good feeling.
Plus, it's your home club, so you always want to do well there.
Yeah, of course. Of course. So, well, that's what's going on. What else is going on besides that?
Dude, I got to find something to do.
What do you mean?
Well, number one, I got to find a hobby. I got to get into something. I got
I gotta say, comedy is not a hobby for you. I know a lot of people do hobbyists when it comes to comedy. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're a writer.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I want to find something that has nothing to do with, everything I do in my life right now is basically to bring in money.
Pick up that guitar, man. I'm waiting for that album.
Ah, Jesus.
That's
forgetting about that.
Screw that, man.
Put that album
that's the focus needs to go in.
All right. So what we do?
If you're listening to this and you have a record studio that we can figure, I don't know what the steps are. Honestly.
If you still put out records, number one.
What is it? Yeah, still considered records, isn't
Recording.
it? And your vinyl.
Recording studio. We're gonna go vinyl.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna make us different from all these other
in
kids.
One direction, we go the other way.
Everybody else is digital. We're gonna go vinyl.
Yeah, we gotta get you in a studio.
I was thinking about that too. I want to do what Weird Al did on his last album. He released like 7 songs all at once with videos.
Did he?
Yep, and one comedy album of the year.
Wait, all the videos and all the songs came out all at the same time?
Yep.
Holy crap, that must have taken him like a year. Probably more.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, you got it.
I know he did an album. I didn't know he did.
Yeah, I think that was 2-3 years ago now. Yeah. But
all right, so not a guitar. Well, the guitar, I feel like the guitar thing needs to happen, but you still need a hobby, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about painting?
Yeah.
What about any sports related?
Yeah.
You don't want to work out?
Yeah, I started going back to the gym.
But like make it as a weekly
like
thing.
a thing?
Like a thing.
Well, yeah, but even so, that wouldn't be a hobby. That would be something I got to do so I don't die. Yeah.
A hobby.
I don't know. You know what I also got to do? I also got to find a way to um I'm still dealing with this one dude who refuses to clean up after his dog in my neighborhood.
You still dealing with the poop guy next door?
Yeah.
Did you already like confront him and like yell at him?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's still letting his dog take a dump in your yard?
Not in my yard. Across, like I have a
by the lake, by the pond. Or
yeah, which is kind of like a public area where a lot of the kids from the neighborhood.
He's not gonna change.
He's not. So I got to figure out. You know what I've taken to doing?
What?
Like, there's only one way in and out of my neighborhood, and his house is the one at the entrance or the exit, depending which way you go. And I have a lifestyle that runs all different hours. You know, like I'll be up at 3 a.m., 7 a.m., 6 a.m., and I'll be driving in and out. Now, all I do is when I'm pulling in, I lay on my horn no matter what hour it is. And when I'm leaving the neighborhood, I lay on my horn no matter what hour it is. So eventually...
That's not going to solve the poop problem.
This is how in my head it's going to go down.
I got an idea. I got you on this. I am good with poop.
Because here's where I'm going with it. I think eventually he's going to be like, hey, man, I don't appreciate you honking your horn every time you... I'm like, well, I would love to stop as soon as... Like, I'm thinking we're going to go into that level of negotiation.
It's going to be... This is my idea. There's a couple ideas.
Okay.
Here's one.
One was I was going to get a whole bunch of bags of manure and just dump them on his driveway.
Oh, that's a good one too. See, I was gonna go the route where it's gonna make you get a little bit dirty. You start picking up the dog poop, but then you put it on his porch.
That was
on his driveway.
That was one of my original things. But here's the problem with that: where he's doing it is like a public area. So if I go put it on his, then all of a sudden you're
vandalizing his property.
Yeah, and I've thought about doing something simple, just like calling. You know, you can actually go online and report people for doing stuff like this, but I kind of don't want to be a snitch.
You called a shit poop.
I kind of feel like there's some guy in an office all day that, I don't want to be that guy who's complaining. It's just, dude, I've tried to have a talk with him about it.
All right, here, this is the route.
Okay.
You call whatever city, county, whatever, and you ask for them to put a sign that says pick up after your dog.
Yeah, they won't post signs, apparently.
What do you mean they won't post signs?
They said they don't put up those signs. Like, I've researched this a little bit. Like, you have to be, it's not a public park, it's a public area. I guess they put those up at parks.
So why don't you just put one up and then pretend it's like that?
I've already thought of that. You know what I've also thought about? There's like all these dog deterrents you can buy, like at Home Depot and Lowe's, like granules and stuff. But the problem is the rain washes them away. But it's like a lot of gardeners get them to keep animals away from their gardens and stuff like that. But the thing is, I don't want to do anything to the dog. It's not the dog's fault that he has a shitty fucking owner. You know, I don't want to put anything down on the ground that's going to make the dog all, sick or,
Yeah, no, don't take it on the dog. It's the owners being a douche.
Yeah.
See, and you already talked to him, right?
Yeah.
And he told you to F off.
Our first conversation, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then I think he went home and grew a pair of balls because, like 2 days later, he's like, "I've been walking my dog here for blah 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 blah."
Oh, he retaliated back.
Well, it took him like 2 days.
Yeah, that's what
I think he wasn't he wasn't ready for my first confrontation. Like, hey, do you need a bag? Oh, huh? Do you need a bag? Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, because I got some extra ones. I tried to do that thing where it's like, hey, you might have forgot your bag. I'm going to give you a chance of explaining that you're not always an asshole. And then, like, he's like, no, we're good. And then, like, a second later, he's like, but what if I didn't pick it up? I'm like, well, then you'd be a piece of shit.
Yeah, see, man, like, when I used to have issues with my neighbors when I had a townhome.
Did they not clean up after the dog?
Right, and the dog would crap right in my backyard. Like, in my
kill the grass and everything.
Yeah, kill it. Well, I didn't really care. It was a townhome, so they took care of the grass. But I would step in it, or my dog would step in it.
Yeah.
So I took all the poop, and I first I put it on his porch because it was his kid that wasn't picking it up.
Oh, okay.
Put on his porch, and I know they got probably pissed off. And then the second time, they had a pool screen, and I smeared it all on the pool screen like a rainbow.
Wow.
That's why I was like, if you want to get mean, and then they stop.
Yeah. See, I don't have a dog. So I was thinking of just like doing, remember in the, like, was it the early aughts, the early 2000s when they would do the flash mob thing?
Okay.
I was thinking of just starting to invite flash mob people like, hey.
And sing about to pick up your shit?
No, I was actually gonna do a flash mob of people walking their dogs, like, "Hey, unofficial dog park today," and like give it his address, and people just show up and let their dog shit all over his yard.
That'd be well planned, and I would like to see that because that's a lot of work to
Yeah.
get a bunch of people to bring their dogs to take a dump in a dude's yard
Mm-hmm.
in a flash mob style.
Mm-hmm. But it'd be fun.
Show tunes, take a dump in this yard. Da 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 da.
Yeah, I just don't know. And like the other day, I was mowing the lawn, and I looked up. I got my headphones and I look up, and I just see him, and he's letting the dog shit, and he doesn't have any bags, and he just like looks over at me, and I'm like, look, now we're at the point where
Oh, you guys did eye contact? Or like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
pick up your shit?
yeah. So I just stopped the lawnmower. I'm like, no bag again today, huh, douchebag?
Oh, you got him a douchebag.
Oh, we're at that level now, dude.
Oh man, he's never gonna clean it now.
No, we wasn't gonna do it
That's
before.
true.
I tried doing every way, and this is where he's at. And here's the other thing: a lot of people don't get this. I have a ton of ducks in this little pond across from my house. All right, kids go over there and play and everything else, and people are like, "Oh, it's dog poop. It's natural." That's the thing. It's not.
It's not.
You own dogs.
Yeah.
Everything you feed these dogs, everything else, it's not meant to go into nature. It's not supposed to go by the water supply. If animals eat that or anything else, it brings disease and everything else. If it goes into that water supply, there's a chance it can kill, life in there.
Yep.
So it's like, just don't be a fucking dick, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
it's your pet. Take care of it. So, I don't know. You clean up after your dog, right?
I clean up all the time. Well, if we don't clean up here, they fine the shit out of you.
Yeah.
It's like $200.
Well,
you get caught.
Yeah, no. If you go on the website for like Orange County, they actually say, it's like something like $80 or $100 every time you don't pick up after your dog.
So just videotape them.
Yeah.
Videotape and then send it to the people. Then they don't get fined. He'll learn.
And the other
That's
thing,
a safe way, I guess. Not being
yeah,
a dick.
the other thing is he lets the dog off the leash to run around in that lot, which I was out there with my youngest one day, and the dog. What?
It's a mean dog.
It's not a mean dog, but it's bigger than my youngest. So when he got excited and came running over towards my youngest, I had to do the thing where I took my youngest and pushed the dog away. And he's like, "Oh no, he's just happy to meet people." I'm like, "Keep your dog on his fucking leash." And I told you,
he gets so angry.
Dude, when
So
it
what
happened,
what did he reply from that?
when it happened, we were by the pond, right by the edge, putting leaves, because my youngest likes to take leaves and put them in the water and watch them float around.
Okay.
So when the dog came running over, if I hadn't gotten in the way and taken like the dog jumping, quite easily put my kid into the water. So yeah, I wasn't in the best mood, Man, also, illegal to have your dog off its friggin' leash.
You do things with your kids just like sound like straight out of the Andy Griffin show. By the pond, you're flicking out the leaves and watching them move.
Believe it or not, the one thing I am pretty good at is being a dad.
I know, I give you all that. You do things. I'm just like, my dad never did that. My dad would have pushed me in there.
Yeah.
Man up and down. Just, leeches on my neck.
Yeah, but on the bright side, because your dad let you get all those concussions early on, you wouldn't remember it. Maybe that's why your dad let you get your ass kicked in tournaments, so you wouldn't remember your childhood.
He taught me what I had to do. I just didn't listen, and I got my head
because you kept forgetting what he taught you.
I'm getting punched in the face.
Vicious circle. So, yeah, man. So we got the Orlando Improv tomorrow night. Looking forward to that.
I'm so looking forward to that. We'll have video, and we'll put it up on YouTube and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you gonna do a camera shoot? We're gonna get some good.
We do a camera shoot.
Cool. And we're gonna do the recording with that on stage, or how are we doing that?
How do I hook that thing up? We'll figure that out. Because if I could hook that up to the main, you not do that? You not hook this thing up to the?
I think it'd actually be well. That's something we can talk about off.
Yeah, we'll take that off.
Yeah. So
we'll figure that out.
Let's see. Hey, this is episode
30,
and we are at yeah.
I guess we could end it here.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was just getting back into the swing of things, back into the.
It's good to have you back, man.
You liar!
I'm not lying, man.
You liar! Last week you had Pedro.
I swear, you
pulling up things on the laptop, laughing, have a great time.
First off, the only thing we pulled up was Madonna. And
yeah,
we
that's
the
pretty
shit
funny.
Out of her.
Yeah,
there's nothing. I was looking for us because you got a competition coming up soon. I want to get you ready because I want you to win.
Do I?
Yeah.
What?
The joke off.
Oh, that's next
roast
week.
off or joke off?
Joke off.
Joke off.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, that joke off turns into a roast. and you're gonna go, and I need you to beat Ken Miller because he has won that damn thing at the Improv. I think like 5 times.
Ken Miller cheats. Ken Miller cheats big time.
Of course he cheats. No. I don't even know how he does it, but he cheats.
He cheats.
But you need to beat him off his pedestal.
Ken Miller and I have the most. We're going back and forth over who has the most wins, but we have him and I individually
have
each
6 and 6, I think.
Have 6 and 6, or 6.5 and 6.5.
Yeah.
And the half is one that we were against each other in the finals, which technically I should have won that one.
That wasn't theirs. I don't know.
Oh, here's how it happened. And now there's a new rule in play.
What's the new rule at the joke off?
Well, it used to be okay. Say you're playing
this.
You go ahead, explain the joke off.
So the joke off is where the audience members are part of the show, where 2 comedians will be on stage, and the audience members will yell out something at the comedian. They have to come out with jokes. So in other words, it'd be like circus, and on the fly, you have maybe a minute to come up with a joke about circus. But 9 times out of 10, when the comedian can't figure out a joke about circus, it somehow turns into a roast about the person on stage that looks like something that's from the circus.
Sure.
And that's what's going to happen. I already see it happening.
Yeah. So, the rule used to be that if the audience cheered equally for both of you, then then it was a tie for that. Like, say the topic was circus.
Okay.
And I did a bit on circus, then you did a bit on circus, and the audience like applauded both of you.
But it sounded the same.
And say it was best out of 3.
Okay.
Okay. Say I already had a point, you didn't have a point, and then we did the circus thing, and they couldn't decide, so they would do another one.
Okay.
Now what happens is, if we both do one on circus and the audience, we can't decide and we tie, that means you get a point, I get a point. So that would mean I just got my 2 out of 3 that round. So, and that's how Ken's weaseled his way through some of these wins, by just matching until it becomes not about the joke, but like a popularity contest. And then there was one time him and I hope you're listening, Ken Miller. There was one time him and I were in the finals, and it was my turn to go do a joke, and I hear people laughing, and I'm like, okay, but I haven't said anything funny yet. And I turn around, and he's taking off his shirt, and he's taking a selfie with himself behind me. So I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
and then there's been several points where Mr. Miller, not just Ken, but a lot of people, don't even do a joke on the topic. They start off being like, man, I don't know nothing about blenders. You ever get hit with a bag of flour when you were growing up? I love you, Ken.
Cheaters.
If you're listening, I love you, Ken.
Shenanigans.
And it all comes down to who's running the show. I've hosted a bunch of these. I've worked with Carmel and stuff like that. I'm like, man, the point of the show is to do a minute on the topic given. So I think some people, when I judge it, I'm always like, hey, that was really funny, but you didn't mention outhouses once. So
let's test you out right now.
Okay.
You ready? I'm going to throw something at you.
Sure.
You get a minute. I'm going to count in my head. I don't know. You ready? Topic is banks.
Banks. You know what I love about banks? Every time you go to a bank, they try to give you stuff. You know, it's like you sign up for something, but then they used to have all that nice free stuff they would give you. Like when you go through the drive-through, you know, they'd always give you a lollipop. You know, I like getting lollipops. Last bank I went through, they're like, we don't have lollipops. We want dog biscuits. I'm like, we have dog biscuits. I'm like, all right, I'll try one, but I think I appreciate the lollipops better. You ever go in a bank and the first thing, am I the only one who counts every camera while you're waiting online going, how would I knock this off if I had to? Like, am I the only human being in the world that walks in and automatically my mind goes into like Robert De Niro in Heat mode? Like, well, I'd have to take out security guard first. And then I'd spray that camera, and that bitch now is going to put up a fight. That's what I'm going through. You know, I always thought I'd just take pictures of tellers' kids and show up at the bank and be like, these are your kids, right?
Time. That's good. That was good. That was good. That was good. That's how it works, by the way. They yell time, and you got to stop on the dime. That was good.
Oh, the other thing I do when I'm judging is a lot of people will get one good laugh and then stop. And like some judges will go ding. And I'm like, nope. I sit there holding my clock because part of it
What do you mean? Oh, they run the clock?
No, like they go way too short. Like,
so
it's
like
about
right
doing your minute.
Okay, doing your minute. So if you do 30 seconds.
So some people will be like 30 seconds, and that's all I got to say about banks. And then some judges will go, okay, ding, you're good. No, that might have been a good joke. you got 30 more seconds to fill. I want to hear you go until your time is up. And you'll hear a lot of guys go, wow, 1 minute's really long. All these guys who run overtime at open mics, like, oh man, I didn't know I was doing past my time. You give them direction, you give them something they got to talk about. All of a sudden they're like, oh, I got nothing. Oh, trust me. There's been some great joke off guys. Arnie Ellis, he's out in LA now. Probably hands down one of the greatest guys to watching a joke off. Every time he went up, you would just think that his material, you would think what he just came up with was something that was polished that he's had for years. Like he was just so confident with delivering
so good
stuff.
with it.
I'll tell you, my favorite joke off win was at the Tampa Improv, and my semifinal round, I went against this guy named John Charles, and the topic was Hitler.
Okay.
And he went up, he's like, I hate Hitler. You know what else I hate? University of Florida football. And then he did a 1 minute joke that he had in his regular
That's
set.
against the rules.
He did it. And then I did my joke on Hitler, and I won that round. And then in the next round, it was me and Darren Moore, who's out in LA now.
Darren, yeah.
I love Darren to death. But for the final point, it was whoever got this point won. Or no, it wasn't, because I swept it. It was my if I get this point, I win.
Right.
It would close out the whole show, win the whole thing. And the big television show at the time was the show called Lost.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that show.
I've never sat through more than 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So Darren goes up, and the topic is television shows, or the subtopic. The way it works is the host gives us a topic like television shows, and then they get a specific one from the audience. So the host said, okay, this topic is television shows. I need a specific television show. And someone yelled out Lost. And they're like, okay. So the topic is Lost. Darren, it's your turn to go first. 1 minute on Lost. Darren walks out and goes, I hate Lost. The whole audience must have been the Lost fan club. Because they go, boo!
No.
Boo! No. Hear me out. Boo!
Too late.
Boo! So I walk out. He does his 1 minute.
Oh, thank God I didn't go first.
And I walk out, and I've never seen Lost in my life, And I walk out, and I look at the host, and I go, hey, I don't want this to count. Before you hit the timer, before I start, I just want to say this. Lost is like my favorite show ever.
Oh,
and the whole audience goes, yay! I'm like, okay, let's start the clock. And then I go, here's what I love about Lost. When was the last time we had a decent show about some people stranded on an island?
Oh, so you at least knew the basics.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gilligan's
good.
Island was an amazing show. Blah, 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 blah. Like, hey, you can build a radio out of coconuts, but you can't fix a hole in a boat? What's up with that?
You had no idea. You started doing Gilligan Island reference?
I kept bringing it back to being like, yeah, could you imagine the cast of Gilligan's Island on Lost?
It would have been great. Like, yeah, and on Lost, Skipper was crazy, wasn't he? Like, wait, what? There's no Skipper.
Yeah, it was one of those you had to go online. It's a special behind the scenes episode. But yeah, needless to say, I got that point.
Oh, you son of a
That was my favorite win.
I wish I was there to see Darren's face when he's like, I hate Lost.
Darren is an amazingly handsome, well-built man who now works as a producer for the Oprah Winfrey Network. Life has been fine for him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, he's actually you'll see him post stuff all the time now. Like do you watch that show Nailed It on Netflix?
Yeah. The cake one.
Yeah, a while back I think he was a casting producer for that because he was looking for people to be on that. Yeah. He's doing well.
It's so funny because he does this bit called Porno Picasso.
Yeah.
It's so funny. If you guys didn't go to Instagram, check out Porno Picasso.
He's actually traveled around the world doing that.
And he draws, he finds people in the open
and
he draws them really bad, but in sex positions. And it's so funny. And it's so gross and raunchy, and people either like it or they hate it. And it's hilarious.
Check out, we'll put a link for it.
We'll put it
somewhere in the episode description. Darren Seymour.
So funny.
Yeah, check him out. He's a funny dude.
Yeah.
He's actually, I think he was just doing some shows with Preacher up in New Jersey this past week.
Probably, yeah.
He was on the road doing some stuff with Preacher.
Yeah, probably was.
Yep.
Preacher Louse.
But not us. Tomorrow we'll be at the Orlando Improv.
We'll make it, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or tonight, or whenever you
Tonight.
do this. Or maybe last night we were at the Orlando Improv. Wednesday at 29th.
Wednesday at
Orlando
29th.
Improv. So.
Well, with that said, I think we're going to end on episode 30, the Obligatory Podcast with Kermit and Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any announcements to say?
Yeah, clean up after your fucking dogs.
I clean up after my dog.
Don't be a shitty human being.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, we got to get you a t-shirt from Latin Sushi.
I don't speak Spanish.
It's fine. You drink Coronas.
No, I don't.
You're going to now.
Wow, I didn't know the sponsorship deal
and you
was
like
so...
tequila.
No, okay.
Yes, you do.
As he looks into the camera, I just noticed it's right there.
They'll be at the show, and
what are their names?
Latin Sushi. I don't know. I got it written down.
They're on the
Eric
guest list.
Or something. And yeah, what size you wear?
Large.
Okay, that's good. Pedro's like a XXX, so you don't have to worry about that one.
Mm-hmm.
He wears literally a bed sheet.
Yeah, he's got a car cover. Speaking of which, how's the new bed working out for you? $5,000 bed.
$5,000 bed, and we can't have sex on it. So
why not?
Because it's too much work.
Can't you just put it flat and have sex?
After I'm going to let you lay down in this bed and use.
No, I don't want to have sex with you. I'm asking.
I'm not going to lay in bed with you. You lay down in bed. And you tell me.
Okay, so
it engulfs you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm scared.
No, you're good. I'll put you on the dry side. Don't worry about it.
All right. That being said, this has been the Obligatory Podcast, episode 30 with Kermit and Mike. And yeah, hope to see you guys at the show tonight.
See y'all later. YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, Podbean, all that.
Pew pew.
And see you guys later. Bye.